This episode is brought to you by the Godfather Foundation. It was created to break the cycle. They want to empower parents and families by providing them with the tools and resources they need to be successful in recovery. They offer case management, peer support, educational classes such as budgeting, credit repair, parenting, job referral, application assistance, cooking, and fentanyl awareness. They are very excited to start this new I Am Not Okay meetings in January. They will be holding these meetings every day. It is okay not to be okay, and you are not alone. These meetings are for everyone in the community that would like some extra support in their lives. They encourage participation from other groups. This is not a class meant to replace weekly groups, therapy, or any medical advice. They're here to provide extra support on those bad days. We are here to remind you it's all going to be all right. Welcome back to another episode of Evolve and Prosper, where we are bringing you stories of what it takes to overcome. And today we're back with another great example of that. And we have Stacey. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. You have a history with addiction, correct?
Yes.
And what was your drug of choice?
Meth.
Meth. What steered you down that direction?
Um, I had my kids young. I was with their father for 15 years and, from 15 to 30. And when I got out of that relationship, I think I experienced things that people normally experience, earlier in life. But just got involved in a bad domestic violence type situation, and it led me to use meth. I lost my kids. Is what happened. My kids went to stay with my grandparents, and just the losing of my kids was a pain that I didn't know how to cope with. And I knew that, I had been told that meth makes you not feel, not think, not care, and that's what I wanted.
And just kind of spiraled after that.
Yes, it spiraled very fast. I only used for 18 months total, but I went from, not even knowing what meth was to, unfortunately, being a very large drug dealer, and by circumstances and things that happen, not by anything that I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's why I've come back so hard in the community, like fighting on the other side, is just because I felt like I did damage, so I need to help correct it.
And it's crazy because they say it's a progressive disease. Like, it gets worse, like, as time goes on, and it seems like within that 18 months that you were using, it really progressed.
Oh, completely. If my life wasn't already in the toilet, it would have went into the toilet, but
Yeah.
that's where it was in the first place, so that's what got me to using. But yeah, I saw, unfortunately, like I say, is on the other side of that dealing, just how quickly it would take people, and they would just think they had a handle on it, and 3 weeks later the person isn't paying their rent and lost their job, and it's just a horrible thing. Anything that takes over your life takes control of you.
So even like in your addiction, active addiction, and serving people like that, you were able to recognize and see how fast it can tear somebody down.
Oh yeah, not only how fast it could tear somebody down, just the need for help in that community. And I guess that's another thing that affected me negatively in the long run, but I just cared so much about people, and I could see all the suffering that was going on.
Yeah.
And it was sad.
That's a crazy perspective, because like myself, I was just like a straight user, wasn't really on the other side of being wasn't on that side of it. So I think that's something maybe special you might hold, because even like in those dark times, like you're able to recognize like how bad this is. What was that like in those 18 months? What was that personal experience like for you?
It was like one of the most traumatic time of my life. It went from I had health problems, I had back problems, but the violence of what was going on didn't help at all, and I ended up losing my job of 13 years. Well, I resigned, but sure I would have lost it if I hadn't. But and so I guess the biggest thing that I take from it all is just that this drug doesn't just only affect one group or one, economic class, like how prominent it is and how every family
It doesn't
has
discriminate.
somebody.
Yeah.
It's just not, people have this perception of what, a drug user is, or what they look like, or where they should live, or, how they should act. And it's not that way. I think if a lot of people knew that someone was using before it got out of control, they could stop it before it ever got to, full on addiction. But I think because addiction isn't talked about and it's hid, then things get out of control, or they, go to a point where they wouldn't need to if it was more readily talked about and not such a, shame around it.
Yeah, that is true, because like, I came from a family that was, my mom raised us very well. She was present. We've seen my dad and was with him, all the time as well. And on the outside looking in, you would think like someone that had all that growing up wouldn't turn out the way, that I turned out. And you're right, like it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Just that one time can take everything from you.
Yeah, just that one time. And even now with with fentanyl, back then, those years, that wasn't there wasn't fentanyl going around. Now you can't risk anything. You can't risk taking anything without
it being laced or something. Like people are overdosing on coke because it's been laced with that. And it's unfortunate. And yeah, you're right. I don't feel like it's talked about a lot, and drug addicts kind of have this stigma towards them, and I feel like what we're trying to do here is just change that.
Yeah, change that, and just bring support from other people in the community that are wanting to help, or that have another issue. I mean, just because someone's an addict doesn't mean that they don't have positive skills and things to offer. And I think recognizing that will help everybody, because making someone feel useful and helpful brings them out of that bad.
Most definitely gives them that self-worth back, that self-confidence, and that ability to know, like, dang, like it is possible to like change and get away from this lifestyle.
Yeah, because you forget the value you have, once you've been using and you've been in that. It's like you forget like the person you were, the person you used to be. You disappear, and you become someone else entirely.
And I know, like when I was getting clean, what helped me was like reminding myself exactly what you just said, like who I was before all this, what were my interests before all this, what were my hobbies before this, what did I like to do, stuff like that. And so this time around, coming out of my last little run, like I tried to pick up those things and really lean into them. Now, so you said you only used for a total of 18 months?
18 months, and then I spent 305 days in jail.
In jail?
Yeah, and I've never went back since.
What was that like for you?
Oh, Lord. It wasn't girls' camp.
Yeah.
No, it was a unique experience. I think, going to jail or doing time, that isn't the hard part. The hard part is watching your children and watching your family and these people that need you on the outside, and being helpless to the fact of hey, I've got to stay in here and pay for the bad decisions I've made. And until I do that, I'm unavailable. And that was the roughest thing. That was,
Well, that and like your family and your children are also on the other side of that pain and dealing with those consequences as well.
mm-hmm.
Now, would you say that's one thing that you learned while you're locked up? Or what do you feel like you learned about yourself coming off of that 18-month run and doing pretty much a year?
I learned I needed to stop doing what I did for me and start praying again and really finding purpose and meaning in why I was there. Like, why I was sitting in jail, I thought, like, I don't want to just have this downtime and be doing nothing. I wanted to get a better knowledge and understanding of things and really try and work on myself, make myself better so that when I did get out, I wouldn't go back to using or I wouldn't go back around these people and that I wouldn't feel like that's something I had to do. And I felt like the best way I could do that was to give myself an education and let myself know, like, hey, you're not the only one, you're not alone. There are other people out here. And just to create a stronger support base with who I did have in my life at that point.
Yeah. And so coming out of jail, because I've been in and out of the system for a while, and I remember like when I would go to jail or when I would go back to prison, like, okay, like I'm really working on myself. When I get out, like I have all these, all these plans and all these steps that I'm gonna take to make sure I don't come back. But it was like as soon as I walked out of those doors, within a week, like that thinking was gone.
Mm-hmm.
How did you maintain that momentum that you built up while locked up as soon as you came out back home?
I didn't maintain it all. Like I didn't ever slip backwards, but when I got out, my intentions were, hey, I need to like get stuff going for a tax exempt organization. Like I can see this needs to be done, that needs to be done. I had great visions and plans. And I think more so when I got out, rather than getting carried away with all of that, I just wanted to focus on everything that, the PO had required of me, everything that the court had required of me, and real intention with time spent with my family, and I think making those bonds and those connections again make you not want to use because, at least for me, that was, the pain of that's what brought me to use. But I just think maintaining like positive influences in your life that aren't just, other addicts or people that have previously used is really important.
I feel one word stuck out to me right there was intention. Having the right intention and going and moving with the right intention to move forward and not go backwards. So, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and making goals, like that was a big thing for me because I've always been like a, goal achiever. So I'm like, okay, how about this goal, that goal? And so making goals for me was a big thing. When I got out, I moved in with my grandparents. Bless them. And I stayed there for 6 months until I was able to get into a house, which my mom, helped the financing of that. I paid for it, but she helped with the financing of that. And just to get into my own spot. Then my oldest daughter came back a couple of years after that, my middle daughter, but all my kids ended up coming back with me, and that kept me there. That kept me.
Yeah, that's all you needed. That's awesome. Now you were able to do your time, get out, and you completed everything successfully, right?
Yes.
Do you contribute that to just the plan that you made and the intention that you had while you were locked up and getting out and sticking to that?
Somewhat, but I also say it's because I wasn't going to compromise on what I was doing at all. In other words, sometimes like people get out and they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to have a couple beers or I'm just going to this or that. I was like, no, like I'm going to do what I need to do everything I can to be done with this. Like was traumatized by everything. I'm like, I never want to see any of you people anything again, you know?
Yeah.
So I just felt like in staying with that thought process in my mind, I didn't even have the inclination to, you know,
So
do anything. Like
yeah.
I just didn't, because I wanted to make sure that I showed my kids, I showed my family, like, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, and I'm going to get through this. And I needed them to trust me again. And the only way I was going to do that is by, you know,
Your
doing what I
actions.
needed. Yeah, what I needed to do.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. That's so awesome because going to jail like sucks, but it seems like you used it wisely and you didn't build. I mean, I'm assuming here, but like you didn't build relationships or connections while in there. At least negative ones.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, no, not negative ones. In fact, I would say even more of an opposite of that. But like my roommate that lives with me, you know, she moved into my house with me, and she's been clean the same amount of time as I have, 14 years.
Oh, from jail.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dope.
And there was 3 more of us, so 5 of us total, that had all been involved with the law at that point and had used then, and we're all still clean today.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome, and that's rare. So that's how you know, like, you have true friendship and a great relationship in your life.
well, and we have each other's backs, but that's where, you know, for the people that don't have family and don't have friends, you know, that's where we're trying to build this community
Yeah.
with the Godfather Foundation, is to give people that support after. So, you know, once you are done with your classes or you're done with, you know, what probation is requiring of you, but you want support for you, you want, you know, you don't want something you're required to go to or something that's felt like
it's different.
you want something you want to go to,
and,
you know?
and something that that you like, a positive community that you seek out, you know, because I know like stuff's required of us when we get out with probation and parole and classes and all that, and like my experience is like you go to these classes and people really all aren't on the same page. So but yeah, let's get into that. You're on the board of the Godfather Foundation, who you guys, at the beginning of each episode, that is the ad read and also the QR code that's available. So can you explain what the Godfather Foundation is?
Yeah. Kind of back into this just a second.
Yeah.
Like I ended up starting this because I lost my husband last May. Because fentanyl. If I can say anything to anyone to get out the point of how dangerous fentanyl is, what the officer said, the detective that worked on his case, he said 4 out of every 10 pills in Utah are coming back as lethal doses.
Wow.
And then he also said that because fentanyl is pressed, it's not like pharmaceutically made, you know, what they're seeing anyways on the streets. The way he describes it is if you can picture a chocolate chip cookie. And so when you have a chocolate chip cookie, sometimes you'll take a bite and you'll get 1, 2 chocolate chips. Great. Well, with these fentanyl specs, if you take a bite and you're getting 8, you're dead. And he says it's just like that. There's no determination. You can't say, oh, I, you know, am normally using 2 pills, I should be able to. There's no, and I know with my husband's, his level was at 5.9 and the lethal dose is 1.8, and so that's how much over his was. But he had no drugs in the vehicle with him, nothing. So it was just whatever he got from his dealer, and that's all it took, is 1 pill, 2 pills.
How did you keep yourself right going through that?
Anger, frustration, and just motivation to do something to make things better for somebody else and to stop someone else from dying. Like once I looked into it, saw the information on fentanyl, saw the information on overdoses, period, how much they've been going up and just how little is being said about it. I just felt like this was something I put off when I got out of jail.
Yeah.
You know, I told you I wanted to
Yep.
do a nonprofit, and I had put off doing it because I got busy with life. You know, you get busy and you think what I have going on is important, and I thought it was until my husband ended up dead, and then I realized there's more important things that I should have been doing, and I'll continue to do now.
Wow. Man, I'm sorry for your loss. Um,
Yeah, so we created the Godfather Foundation, which is created just to bridge that gap. Really, you know, right now you have the recovery houses and you have the sober living houses, but there's nobody there really helping the person that, you know, is in that in between, or those few days before they get into somewhere, or just you know, helping with those extra things. For Christmas, we did Christmas presents for 72 kids,
oh wow.
which were the children of people in recovery centers around Ogden. And so then we delivered the gifts to the recovery center so they could give it to their kids, and
That's awesome.
you know, just things like that that are going to make your life not just okay, they're going to make it better. We want people's lives to thrive. We want to build a community where we can share education, support, skills amongst each other, and make it something positive without, you know, within the community.
Yeah.
You know, people have their church. If you have a church group, and you know, some people do AA, but we want to do a combination of just like everybody's welcome that needs help, that needs some support in the community. And you're recovering for loss, you're recovering from grief, you're recovering from addiction. You know, you could be recovering from so many different things these days, and obviously we didn't just start out addicts. Some reason, you know,
Yeah.
something happened that made us use.
Yeah, definitely. And the meetings that you're referring to are the I'm Not Okay meetings, right?
Yeah, we're doing I Am Not Okay meetings. Right now we're doing a Monday through Friday at various locations, but we have the I Am Not Okay group page on Facebook, and that's really taken off. And just if anyone wants to join in there, link up, and then if you need support, you can post anonymously your issue, you know, what you need support on. You can, you know, post your, you know, if you don't care who people, you know, see who you are,
Yeah.
however you want to do it. But we just really want to create that community-based group that isn't, you know, one specific group, but something for everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome because not only the support for the community, but it allows people to see that, because a lot of people suffer in silence and don't know where to go or where to turn to. So putting that out there to let everybody know, no, it doesn't matter what you're going through, there's people here for you. You know,
Yes.
complete strangers too,
Mm-hmm.
and that is awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's the greatest thing that I've seen since we've started it, is just the what I call God moments of things just falling together in perfect place, of, you know, people being in these groups and being able to provide, you know, employment or extra support outside of, you know, our meetings.
Yeah.
And I think just seeing that people are, you know, exchanging numbers and like talking outside of it, it's good, because that's exactly what we meant it for. That's
Yeah,
exactly
and I bet
what
that
we,
makes you
know,
feel good, you know,
it does.
because
It does.
you the things that you have been through, and losing your husband.
Mhm.
So to be able to take that pain and celebrate his life, you know, in a way, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's real awesome. Now, what, like, so people can find you on Facebook, right?
Yeah, you can go. We have the Godfather Foundation has a page on Facebook,
And
but
I'll
we
link it
also
in this
have
description too.
our I Am Not Okay group page, and that page actually has more action, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
You know, more things are happening on there because more people are already signed up on there, and only because there's some difference of if you're doing a page or a group on being able to invite people, and so
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. But yeah, no, we have the Godfather website too, thegodfatherfoundation.com, and we're going to be starting some financial education classes for doing budgeting and credit repair.
Oh, that's cool.
And so on the I Am Not Okay group page, we'll put a sign up sheet for that. And then our fentanyl awareness class, we're also going to be doing that pretty soon here after our rally at the state capitol on the 26th.
Yeah. Why don't you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, they're doing a rally for recovery at the Utah State Capitol at 4 o'clock on Thursday, February 26th. For anyone who wants to come, they're going to do a walk around the place, and then they'll have some like speakers, legislators, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome. Now, for those early on in their journey of recovery or healing from whatever traumas that they're still carrying around, what would be like some advice for somebody that may feel like overwhelmed or their first time going through something like that?
Just have a plan. Have a plan for what your steps are when shit gets real, when life gets, to that point. Have a plan. Have it, this is what I'm going to call this person. I'm going to go read. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to have a plan of what you're going to do, because those days are going to come.
Yeah, most definitely.
They're going to come. And if you don't have a plan, then your mind's going to go down the same old path of, help. But if you have a plan and you have people that you can count on, that's what it's all about.
And being able to act on that, being able to follow through on your plan, and being able to feel like you're not, I guess, drop the pride a little bit to reach out for in those vulnerable moments.
Yeah, very much so. And I think we need to remember, as on the other side of that, when people are calling or they are saying, something happened, being understanding of that and trying not to be, judgmental. I know the trust part of it is very hard, because that's what I dealt with my husband was the hardest, is trust, them breaking trust. But I think it goes back to intention. You're going to have a mistake, you're going to slip up, but what are your intentions? Are your intentions to correct that and to move forward and to make yourself better? That's where I look, I think, is what your goal is and what you're intending to do.
I like that. I'm big on a moment of clarity. You might have touched on this already, but I feel like every person will have a moment of clarity to where you're faced with that moment of like, hey, I can't do this anymore, or I'm gonna keep going. But for me, like, the moment of clarity was not having my kids, driving around in my car, nowhere to live. And I remember the light I was on, the street I was turning up, and where I was going to my storage, and I was just like, I can't keep living like this anymore. What was that moment of clarity like for you?
I was obviously forced into, not using anymore for a minute because I got thrown in jail. But even at that point, I don't think my mind had still accepted it until after being in there for probably 6-7 months. It wasn't until that point when I gave up control, like I say, handed it over to God, said, I can't do this. I need you. You need to take the driver's seat right now because I'm crumbled. And after that, it just, things just fell into place, and mountains moved. We just had to have the faith in something outside of myself.
Yeah, and the common theme of this episode so far, I feel like, is intention. You moved with the right intention, acted on with the right intentions, and everything fell into place for you. And it seems like you still handle yourself that way today, with the Godfather Foundation and the things that you're building, the community that you're building. So I give you your flowers on that, because it's hard to get into this. It's easy to get into the system, but it's hard to get out of the system successfully. And for you to go to jail your very first time, after the experiences that you had leading up to that, and not having that poor me attitude or my life's over, and getting out and repeating the same mistakes. So for you to get out and handle your business and move with the right intention, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think God creates people to be what He has meant for them to be, and I think I had to go through everything I went through, to go from being the foster parent and being the soccer mom and being the PTA mom and not having any view of that, drug world, to going through all that and through using and through the abuse and then through jail, to see like every bit of this has been building you up into the person that you needed to become, So even though I couldn't see it at the time, what I was going through was building me into what I was, meant to become, and, to who I am today.
Yeah, and that's awesome, because you look at it like that. You don't look at it as, why did I have to go through all that? Like I said, the poor me or the victim mentality. There's power in being able to look at it how you've looked at it from day one, and that's important to share, because I feel like we all have that in us. So being able to hear your story is awesome, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you.
It's great what you're doing, and hopefully people can put some more attention on it. And, if they know something or know somebody suffering, say something, do something.
Definitely. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on or share?
They have excellent hot chocolate down here.
2-Bit Street Cafe, or Bristow Cafe, whatever. It's on 25th in Washington, so make sure you guys come check them out.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming on here and speaking with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. And thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow us on, you can follow the Godfather Foundation on Facebook, right?
Yes.
I'll link their page in the description. And you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook as well. And if you'd like to help support the show, we have an apparel line, evolveandprosperapparel.com, and we'll be getting some new t-shirts designs up there, and also something for the ladies as well. Until next week, we thank you for tuning in.